All right, settle in, history nerds and curious cats. We're talking about one of history's greatest mic drops, the fall of the Roman Empire, and specifically those rowdy Germanic tribes. You know the ones history textbooks often paint as just bad guys from the north. But it's way more complicated and honestly, funnier. So imagine you're Rome, big, powerful, basically the world's superpower. You've got gladiators, aqueducts, toga parties. Life is good. You're on top. But then, off in the misty, forested distance, you hear a faint, distant yodeling. That's your neighbor, the Germanic tribes. Not just one tribe, mind you, more like a whole bunch of different groups, each with their own vibe, their own fashion sense, and a shared love for not being told what to do. Rome initially saw these guys as, well, barbarians, which basically meant anyone not Roman, like calling someone uncool for not liking your band. Super biased, right? But also kind of understandable. Rome had paved roads, central heating, Instagram filters. The Germanic tribes, more like mud paths and campfires. They were often nomadic, moving around, chasing resources, or just avoiding bad landlords. And Rome had been trying to manage them for centuries, sometimes with treaties, sometimes with swords. Think of it like a really long, drawn-out neighborhood dispute, except the stakes were, empires. So what changed to turn this dispute into a full-on collapse? Well, gather round, because it's not a simple answer. There wasn't one giant barbarian invasion day, more like a slow, complicated, sometimes accidental tango. Enter the Huns. Yes, those Huns, the ones who looked like they meant business. They swooped in from the east, causing chaos, like a particularly aggressive swarm of bees. And guess who was in their way? The Germanic tribes, specifically the Goths. The Goths were basically like, nope, not today, Satan, and they ran straight towards the biggest, baddest empire, Rome. They wanted in, for safety. Please, Rome, let us in. We brought snacks. Rome, bless its bureaucratic heart, had a decision to make. Let in these barbarians or leave them to the Huns. The Romans, always pragmatic, saw an opportunity. Free labor, new soldiers, a human shield. So they said yes to the Goths crossing the Danube, which, historically speaking, was like letting a very hungry fox into a very fancy, very disorganized henhouse. This was 376 AD, a pivotal moment. The Roman Empire just got a lot more Gothic. But this isn't where it all went instantly wrong. Oh no. Rome had a talent for making things worse, especially when it came to hospitality. They promised the Goths land, food, safety. What they delivered was kinda sketchy. Think about it. Thousands of refugees. Rome was unprepared, incompetent, or just plain greedy. They ripped off the Goths, massively, selling them dog meat disguised as pork, forcing them to sell their kids into slavery for food. Yeah, I know, not exactly humanitarian aid. You can see why the Goths might be getting a little antsy. This wasn't the peaceful new life they were promised. And what happens when a whole army of desperate people feels cheated and betrayed? They turn around, and they march, not back to their homeland, but deeper into Roman lands, towards a little place called Adrianople. And who do they run into there? Emperor Valens. Remember him? The guy who promised them everything, then delivered, well, dog meat, and a whole lot of misery. So the Goths weren't exactly in a good mood. Valens, being Valens, was overconfident. He thought, barbarians, we've got this. Plot twist, they did not have this. The Battle of Adrianople, 378 AD, it was a catastrophe for Rome. Valens himself was killed, which, is generally not ideal. For an emperor, anyway. This wasn't just a defeat. It was a wake-up call. A giant, flaming, barbarian-shaped wake-up call. The Goths had won, and now they were inside the empire, like a particularly aggressive houseguest who just broke down your front door and probably stole your good silver. Rome never truly recovered from this. The myth of Roman invincibility was shattered forever, like a cheap face. Other Germanic tribes saw this. Hey, they thought, if the Goths can do it. And suddenly, everyone wanted a piece. Vandals, Suebi, Alans, all lining up to get a slice of the pie. The Western Roman Empire began to crumble, not with a bang, but with a series of very loud thuds and a lot of paperwork. Eventually, in 410 AD, Alaric, the Visigoth leader, sacked Rome, the eternal city, plundered for the first time in 800 years. Imagine the headlines. Talk about a bad Yelp review. So what's the takeaway here? The fall of Rome wasn't just barbarians. It was a complex mix: overstretched borders, economic woes, political instability, and a healthy dose of Roman arrogance, especially towards those trying to join them. But the Goths played a crucial role. They were the spark, the final straw in a camel's already broken back, proving that even the mightiest empire can fall, especially if you treat your new recruits like they're selling dog meat, and then actually sell them dog meat disguised as pork. Never underestimate the power of a desperate, hungry, and betrayed army. It's a lesson from ancient history that still holds true today.